And I think, if you have something specific that you can do, it builds confidence if you know what to say. Because many times, especially when I started out, I'm just like, he's not a very good leader. He's not doing a good job. Well, I didn't teach him how to do it. And so now we're very intentional about what our guys need to do. And then when they get that confidence, they start to grow and branch out and do more and more.
Welcome to the Jamodi Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it.
Today we're joined by the head men's basketball coach at Southwestern College, Matt O'Brien. Coach O'Brien just finished his 14th season as the head coach of the Mound Builders. In 2018, he became the winningest coach in the history of Southwestern while being named the KCAC Coach of the Year. Coach O'Brien has had 13 straight winning seasons, 7 20-plus win seasons, and hit the career 300-win mark, which puts him amongst the most active winning coaches in the NAIA. He's also led Southwestern to 4 national tournament appearances. Before we hear from Coach, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at Jamodi Podcast.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
Not too much. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you doing today?
Doing really good. Looking forward to visiting with you.
Yeah, this is a pleasure for me because you don't know this, but a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of sitting in the gym watching at Green Hill, watching you and your staff work that. What would you call that? What kind of camp was that?
We kind of call it a showcase or an elite camp.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a great staff and they work hard and it's fun to get out there. Dallas has a lot of talent, as you know.
Yeah. I was amazed at how many players were there. But I really appreciated how organized you were. I mean, the fact that you had all of those players for the most part moving, lines were small. They got a lot of reps in. And then also I felt like you guys told the truth to them about what it takes to make it to your level, what they can do with social media or the right ways to use it, and then academically what they need to be doing. It was phenomenal, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. But when we met as a staff, we wanted to add as much value as possible. And so, the smaller lines, that's when you get more reps. And then my assistant coach, Jimmy McSorley, did a great job, I thought, with the social media aspect of trying to give them advice and help these kids out.
Yeah, and you guys were also holding kids accountable. And I was sitting right by the door when I witnessed it happen one time. But at the same time, I appreciate that. I know that obviously you guys were there. People paid to be there, but you weren't going to allow things that just, disrespected the game, disrespected other players, the coaching staff, and in the process taught valuable lessons, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I wanted it to be a good experience for the group. And oftentimes you got to make those tough decisions on the fly that are not fun. But we've been there before. We've done it quite a few times. And I'm glad most of the kids had a really great experience.
No, I would say 99% of them did. And you know what? If they didn't, if they found issues with that player or parent, well, maybe playing at the next level is not for you, which is okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, we're not for everybody. And I know that I'm not for everybody. And we're trying to be as authentic as possible so that we find people who are a good fit and want what we have. We want to have a discipline program that's organized. And if you want to be a part of that, then great. If that's not for you, that's okay too.
You had some sophomores there, some juniors, and then obviously there were some older players. And there's no hard, fast rule for this, but in your perspective, like how often do you find players or at least start some conversation with players from an event like that?
That's the first time that we did like a satellite camp, if you will.
Okay.
We've been doing this for 15 years, but it's been on our campus. This is the first time that we went to another location. And quite frankly, it was more popular than I thought it would be. So, it worked out really good. But I think, probably about 50% of those kids will probably visit our campus and come to one of the showcases that we hold on our campus. And then, if the kids show interest and apply, if they show interest in our program, we'll follow them some more and see if we can further look at the options at Southwestern.
First of all, just want to thank you so much for giving up your time, coming on and talking hoops with me today. This is great.
Yeah, this is fun. I've been able to take in some of your content. You've had some great guests, and I've learned a lot from them. I've picked
Wow.
up some really, really good nuggets over the last few couple weeks. Coach Gregory, the way he like communicates with ease on roster management, he really, he challenged me with, talking about courageous conversations and just how comfortable he was with, some guys are going to be good enough and some guys are not.
To
So
be that upfront and honest, it was refreshing for me, because I feel like those are conversations that, not that we dread, but they're not our favorite. When you have to kind of let people know exactly where they are. But you're right, the way that he just kind of had the confidence, the security just to say it, and in the end, he knew he was doing what's best for them.
yeah, and he came across really authentic, the way he communicates and confident, as you said.
I loved how he talked about too. I don't know. This whole thing is about you. It's not about him. But I loved how he talked about the JV freshman varsity teams. It's one program, and it's going to be fluid. People are going to move in and out. I mean, sometimes I felt like at the high school level, when I make that team, I'm going to stick with that group. They can't move around. They got to stay. But I think that's just a smarter way to do it.
I do too. And we had that conversation today, in fact. And I went back to thinking about that conversation you had with them, and it was helpful, especially with the picture day. I'm always so stressed out with picture day. Like, let's make sure we have everything's perfect for picture days. Like, yeah, some people will be in the picture, some people won't. Those things will change. But just a lot of wisdom. And it's great to be able to learn from coaches with that kind of experience.
Yeah. When you're 30-3 in 6 years of playoff runs, you're doing all right. You're
Yeah,
doing all
he's
right.
he's got he's got it figured out.
Yeah, but coach, so do you. And it's just to bring it back around, because first of all, humbled that you would listen to any, like blown away by that right there. But I mean, the success, you winningest coach of all time there. You've had 11 straight winning seasons. And if I think I have that right, it might be even more than that now, with 6 straight 20-win seasons. So at the NIA level, you've figured it out too.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We've had really great coaches, assistant coaches over the years who've been really loyal to Southwestern and to me. And then we've just had some phenomenal players that have worked really hard, and we've had a good thing going, and we're going to try and keep that going. We got a good group this year as well.
I love getting to hear from coaches about their daily habits. You and I have the same amount of time every day, but I have to make sure that I'm using my seconds wisely, as I'm sure successful people like you do as well. So, what daily habits set you up for success?
I think I've got to do some little things every single day, or else I just don't feel right. I got to get some wins to start out the day, and that's with starting out with the devotional and a workout. Those two things, and then I've also been reading Coach DeShazzo, or Kevin DeShazzo's Leadership Uninterrupted, and that's been a really good. It's kind of like a daily leadership book that
Oh,
you can
wow.
just cut. Yeah, it's been great. And so doing those three things in the morning, that's kind of part of my routine. That's really helped me a lot. I want to try and feed myself with positive things before I get to the office each day.
How much, what's your weekly workout split look like right now? Or when you say workout, what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, it's not impressive. I wouldn't record it or want anybody watching my workouts, but I'm lifting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then every other day I'm doing some kind of cardio. It's nothing to brag about, but I keep it moving. I just got to be in shape to keep up with these guys over the course of the season and ride the bus. Frankly, ride that bus. All the miles that we put and all the recruiting trips, you got to be in good shape to keep up. And if you want to make long tournament runs, you got to be feeling good late into the season.
Yeah, because I think so often we're worried about the energy and the health of our players, and we completely forget our own. And how, but I wonder how many times, our players can even feel or sense when we're drooping or we're losing a little bit. So that routine that you have, I think, is powerful. 5 days a week, coach. That's impressive. So don't sell yourself short there.
We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. But I agree with you. The energy level is contagious. And I pride myself on having a tremendous amount of energy at every practice. And so I can challenge the guys. I try to be the most energetic, most enthusiastic person in the gym every practice. I'm not
Mhm.
that way in the office. I'm really laid back. I'm not really that way if we go out, I'm meeting somebody for out for dinner, but in practice, I'm very passionate, and everybody can enjoy that. I love what I'm doing, and I'm excited about the opportunity I get each day to practice with our guys.
That's a great nugget though. I think sometimes you see these at a clinic or something, these enthusiastic coaches. It just seems to be so natural coming out of them. And I'm the same way too. I'm very spirited and energetic during second period athletics, but I don't know if I'm not that way walking through the hallway. I don't feel like every single day. So but we ask our players to do the same thing. They may not be that person in the classroom or at home, but they have to bring that spirit, that energy. So again, another great reminder for us to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We stress the same thing to our guys. It may not be your personality to talk, but we need you to do that. We need you to block everything out for this hour and a half that we're practicing. We don't practice very long. We want our guys to be focused for just under an hour and a half. We want them locked in and involved emotionally and spiritually in what we're doing.
I've noticed that players have different leadership styles. And I've been trying, I think early when I was really a young coach, I wanted them all to be the same, all to be at the same level, the same height. What's your advice on helping our players become the leaders that they're capable of, lead in a way that not is just comfortable, but leads to the most success for them?
Yeah, leadership is everything. And I think it is so under-taught leadership. And we try to be very intentional with leading guys or teaching them how to lead. We have a leadership group. We've done it for about 7 or 8 years, and a leadership team. And we meet with them once a week to talk about leadership things. So in some cases, we'll bring a speaker in. Uh, this year, I'm meeting with each person that's on our leadership team individually and talking about what they specifically need to do to lead. So we're not just saying, hey, Abe, you're the captain this year. I'm saying, Abe, you're the captain this year. We need you to encourage people when they're not doing well. We need you to remind them of all the things we're doing. You need to say these specific things. When we're passing, you need to tell
Mm.
your team catch with an attitude. When you see somebody jump stop low and wide, you need to make sure you're rewarding those things. We specifically have specific things that they can do. And I think, if you have something specific that you can do, it builds confidence if you know what to say. Because many times, especially when I started out, I'm just like, he's not a very good leader. He's not doing a good job. Well, I didn't teach him how to do it. And so now we're very intentional about what our guys need to do. And then when they get that confidence, they start to grow and branch out and do more and more.
Coach, I think you're right on the money. PGC, they talk about, we ask players, why are most players quiet? Get some different answers like they're too shy, possibly. Maybe they're too cool. That can happen too. But the
Yeah.
majority of them, they just don't know what to say. And so walk into a practice here. We got to talk. We got to talk. Okay, that's great. Do you want mindless chatter? Or do you want something specific? So when you tell them, we need you to be a great leader, if you just leave it at that, man, what does that mean? But by giving them those directives, that ensures or gives them confidence, a direction to point their leadership. I think that's great, man.
Yeah, like so even in a practice plan, well, I'll go through it with the guys on the leadership team sometime this week probably and say, during this drill, you need to say this. On this drill, you need to say that. And the kids really respond. Most of the time, they'll respond really well to it. And they want to have the answers. They want to help their teammates. And we're just providing that opportunity for them to be confident and lead their team.
It's kind of like you're bringing them in, behind the curtain a little bit into the process of what you and your coaching staff does. So I would imagine you get really good buy-in from them because they feel like they're really a part of the culture, moving everybody forward. I love it.
No, they do. And we talk about it a lot of times. Like our leadership team needs to stay strong, and they need to be here all season. And then the other guys on the team, they may be up and down, but we're confident over the last 8 or 10 years of this leadership team, if they can stay the course, this leadership, I got a group of 4 to 6 kids that can stay the course no matter what. You always have the confidence as a coach. You always have the confidence if there's a discipline issue or you're making a tough decision, you know those guys have your back and moving forward. And it gives me a ton of confidence knowing I got these guys with me. They're 100% behind me. They know the reason why we're doing it and they care. And it's given me a lot of confidence as a coach.
How are you choosing the 4 to 6 guys?
It's a combination of things. Each has been different. We don't do the voting. We don't do that. This last year, we opened it up to the returners on who was interested, and then there's 3 or 4
like
guys.
That. I like that.
So the reason why I like that the most is there'll be kids who didn't volunteer, and if they complain about anything, I'm say, hey, you had your chance. You had your chance, because there are some benefits to being the leadership team. It's mostly about learning how to be a servant leader, but they do pick uniforms and pick where we're going to eat and do some of those things. Which everybody likes to do, but they also have to clean the bus and, pick up after everybody, straighten the chairs and do those kind of things. But this group of guys, they've been great. This particular leadership group that we have, I think, gives us a really good chance to win a championship.
Let's just say you have one of your best players, but he happens to be one of these guys with his mood, his energy, but he just has the skill, the talent to be great. Do you bring him on that leadership team in an effort to maybe help him get to where you see he could be, or you trust that other guys will bring him up?
It's been both. Most of the time, we want that guy on the leadership team. He may not have as big a role as communicating to the other guys on the team. And just like you said, everyone has different strengths. We'll identify guys' strengths and have them lead from their strengths. So some guys will be, really vocal in practice. Other guys might be helping guys do shooting drills before practice. Some guys lead our stretching and rolling, foam rolling. We have other guys who help lead in the weight room, others, with the training room and that kind of thing. But there's all different ways to lead. And if we see somebody with, really strong character and leadership ability, we're trying to, really try and have that lead the rest of the guys and help to build our culture.
You said you meet with them at least once a week, and you're trying to meet with them individually right now?
Yeah, this year it's just the schedule worked out better to meet them individually. And the years past, we've met once a week, like over lunch. It just didn't work out with the class schedules this year. But the individual meetings are going well. I find that the kids, they don't give me excuses why they don't want to meet. But you got to have the right kids. That's the key, having the right guys, and then, treating them well. And in those meetings, I'm also giving them time on how I can make them better. And so that they get a chance to, hopefully they feel like they get a chance to get something out of it and improve as well.
At the high school level, I think I've said it to younger players before, like juniors and down guys, it's not just the seniors that have to lead. Anyone else can step into that role. And there's a whole idea of there's a leader in every locker. But in your experience, is it better to have your seniors, older players, or do you have some times where a freshman or sophomore just has it in them and can command the respect of older teammates? How does that work out for you?
Yeah, well, we had a kid from Allen, Texas, Myron Fisher, just a phenomenal kid. And he was a sophomore, and we really pegged him as like a 6th or 7th man. He ended up being a starter that year, but preseason we picked him as like a 6th or 7th man on our team. We made him the captain of our team as a sophomore with 2 returning All-Americans on our team. And Myron was, he's just one of the best leaders I've ever been around. And at first, the guys are like, you got to be kidding me. We have 2 All-Americans, and you're picking a sophomore that, some of them, I'm not sure he's going to play, but he was just, I call him the Michael Jordan of life. This kid was just great. Wow. I mean, he had a ton of energy, and just he was about all the right things and about serving his team. And we made him the captain. And that was probably our first championship run. And I didn't know how it was going to work out. A lot of times you get lucky, and it worked out well. And then it gave me, Coach, honestly, that gave me the confidence to start looking at leadership in a different way. When we picked the sophomore, who was not the best, definitely not the best player on the team, as the captain of our team and on the leadership team. over 2 All-Americans, one who, ended up playing pro, both of them ended up playing professional basketball, but one 4-time All-American in our program and another All-American in our program. And that just goes to show you leadership matters. And it's been big in our program, and it's been a huge focus on what we're doing.
Coach, what was the book again that you're reading right now?
It's Leadership Interrupted by Kevin DeShazo. And it's like a daily leadership insight. It only takes about 4 or 5 minutes to read.
Awesome.
But it's been great. It's been really good.
Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is powered by Ballogy. Manage and measure your players' skill development and increase accountability year-round utilizing the Ballogy app. Boost inter-squad competition with drills backed by the National High School Basketball Coaches Association, including a 40-shot Ballogy skills assessment. Please visit ballogy.com/teams for information on how you can provide this resource for your team. Style of play is one that I think every coach loves to talk about. We all have our favorite. If everything was perfect, this is the style of play we would choose. But is your style based on the players that you have, or are you bringing in players to fit the style that you want, especially at the college level where you can't recruit?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. We've been pack line defense for a really long time, and we've been motion offense for a long time. But we've kind of, we've done some different things within that. But the things that stay the same is we're looking for tough kids. So we're really looking for tough kids with high character. Those are the guys that usually who can make it and enjoy being here. But the big style of play that we've changed that we've made over the last 5 years is I know you like to run, Coach. I've seen we really try to run. We want to play fast, and it's tough to do. But if we can get to where we have a rotation of 9, 10, or 11, we really want to play fast. But there's been years like last year where we played 7 guys and we slowed it down a little bit.
It's a long game. Like your games are just that extra quarter of time. Like that makes a difference.
It does. But to answer your question, I think it'd be a little bit of both. I do think that the character piece, we're not going to, probably go away from that, and how hard kids play. That's a big part of what we do. But we've been able to do some different things. Like there's been a stereotypical kind of big man that we've liked to have. And then this year we're almost going to have a point center. Our center is very good ball handler. So we'll get creative with things.
That could be fun. Yeah.
We've won a championship with a true point guard who was an All-American. And this year we're probably going to play combo guards at the point. So, I feel like you have to be flexible at the small college level. But we won't be flexible as far as guys who will work hard, who'll be unselfish. Those things we're not going to be flexible with that. We are who we are in those areas.
Coach, I really like the nugget that you threw in there, and maybe that question is incomplete because we're just really talking about skill, style of play. Is it your players or is it your system? How do you fit? And then, but you made a comment. Well, we're going to make sure that they're tough. I think to add to that question is a little bit how much of your culture also goes into the style of play, the type of players you have, and who you're bringing in, because there's a lot of skilled players, but not everybody fits exactly what you're looking for with the type of leaders that you want, how tough and how hard you want your players to play. So I don't know, that was an interesting I didn't think about that before.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And culture is, it's such a huge, I know it's overstated. People talking about
that word is
culture,
overstated, but everybody, it's been around forever. It's who you are, how you live every day, how you do what you do. So keep going.
We got a great league. I know everybody plays in a great league. We've got great coaches in our league. I'm not trying to outcoach these guys. There's some really great coaches at the NAIA level that do really, really well. We're trying to outculture people. And that's where we're trying to make our gains. It's hard work. I think you can have a little bit more control over the work and the caring that you put into your players and into your program. And you're exactly right. Those are the kind of people that we got to pick, the right people who want what we're about. And I'm just so fortunate. I've had a great staff over 13 years here at Southwestern. Our assistant coaches, they know what we want. They're 100% bought into it. And they're a big part of why we've been successful is our assistant coaches are outstanding. I've had some of the best assistant coaches in the country over this 13-year period. And so it's not just me giving this message.
Right.
They're hearing this message in small groups, in shooting groups, in the weight room, in study hall. I've been very fortunate to work with some really great coaches on our staff.
Since there are so many, I mean, you can watch film on a player and you can see the skill level, and you can watch a player move, finishes, and all those things, and kind of see, yeah, that would work with what we try to do. How do you go about finding out whether or not they're the right person for the culture, the standards that you guys have? Like, what's that whole process for you?
Well, when you get on campus, it's just spending a lot of time with them and then being really honest and saying, hey, we're a hard work team and I love basketball. How I try and explain to them how much I love basketball and how motivated I am to improve every day. And I'll simply say to a recruit, if it's all about just having fun, then this is not the place for you. If you really want to get better on a day and you love to work hard, this is a great place for you. But we really, and then we try and get them to practice where I'm aggressive with the guys. I love my guys. I'm very aggressive with them in practice. And they get to see how intense, how fast it is, how demanding we are on the guys. We want them to see exactly how it is. And also on the visits, if things are a little bit not perfectly set out for the recruit, that's fine. I
A
want them
little
to see
chaotic, yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
want them to see the chaos.
Yeah.
If there's a little altercation in practice, no problem. Go ahead and see behind the scenes. If you want everything to be perfect, don't come to Southwestern because we all know there's no place you're going to go. It's going
Yeah,
to be perfect.
it's exactly what I felt like I heard in that camp. Just a lot of truth telling. I mean, how many recruits go to? You've heard these stories. They go to a campus, they meet everybody. It's just everything is perfect. Everyone's nice. The guys are great. They enjoyed their entire experience, but they aren't really seeing the day to day and really how it's going to be. And then all of a sudden, they're there. They sign. Parents are gone. Classes start, and you really see who people are. Maybe I'm talking from my own experience a little bit, but I think you being authentic right up front, one, it probably makes your job easier because the guys that won't fit don't come back, don't respond. But the guys that you want, look at what you're doing and what you're bringing and say, yes, like this is what I'm here for.
And our retention has been great that way.
Hmm.
The kids stay, and we've been playing older guys for a long time. We're playing mostly juniors and seniors because our kids stay. When I really learned this, coach, is I get lucky sometimes. I'm not smart enough to figure it out on my own. Like the COVID year really helped me a lot
Oh,
because we weren't able to do this with the visits. It was Zoom and a phone call, and they weren't able to see what it's like in practice. They can't see that look in your eye, coach, when you want a kid to run to the corner or to get back on defense. There's a different deal between how we communicate in the office or over Zoom
sure.
than when we're on that court and we're in our element. So that's the real. I really have doubled down on just being honest with kids and upfront and giving them exactly the way it is, especially from that COVID experience. And we didn't try and mislead anybody, but it just doesn't come across the same in Zoom or on the phone as it does in person. And the kids getting to be a part of the practice or the workout.
Yeah, right on the money there. I think obviously select basketball has a huge part in players making it to the next level. There's some great select coaches out there. Over the years, even in my own, because I've done both before, but even I've wondered, man, what is the role of the high school coach in helping out players, make find the right school, get the right fit. In your opinion, what are we here for? With as a high school coach helping our players.
Yeah, I think the relationships do matter, but helping the student athlete navigate what they're getting into. I mean, our conversation now, you'll know certain kids, hey, you might love it at Southwestern, and you might coach a certain kid and be like, that might not be the best spot for you. So I think hard work works. I mean, when you work hard for a kid, it works. Uh, but ultimately, the kid's got to get the job done on his own, and
Yeah.
he's got to be able to perform in a way that attracts college coaches and want them to be a part of their program.
Are you talking to high school coaches? Because my thought in this is, you can watch their select game and see their skill, and maybe their
Yeah,
select coach can talk to their character and how they practice. But I think you and I both know at the high school level, we practice more than we play, and
right.
sometimes that's a little bit different. So, are you still coming to the high school coach to maybe find out about how tough are they really? How are they in the classroom? What type of habits do they have?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've gotten more specific with the questions. So, it's always, do they practice hard? Do they like practice? And I know you can just kind of say yes to that. Like it's kind of, like you kind of have an out. But a lot of coaches will be honest with you and say he has good days and bad days
Mm,
because we're practicing hard every day. There's no doubt about it. We're practicing hard at Southwestern. You're going to practice hard, or you're going to be asked to leave the gym. There's no other way that we can do it. I don't know how to do it any other way. This is
right.
what we're doing. But the question that's really helped me um, is, are they in a good mood? Are they usually in a good mood? That's a specific question that's helped me. More so is, I starting out maybe 10 years ago, I'm like, hey, coach, is he a good kid? And like, there's a lot of kids, they're good kids, but I want someone in a good mood with energy. The kid that's in a good mood, usually encouraging his teammates, wants to listen. So that's the kind of question that's kind of changed things for me to maybe get the information that I need a little bit more.
That's a great question. And you're right. It's so different because moody kids aren't bad. Like they're not going out and doing things that will disrespect their family, disrespect their school, get them in trouble. But moody kids are hard to coach. You don't want the feeling of, man, which one are we getting today?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
the same
Absolutely.
way the players don't want coaches like that either. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
imagine you're the same just from talking to you for the last 20 minutes, almost 30 minutes. You're the same almost every day when you walk in the gym because you choose to be. I've had coaches that are different than that, but it's the same the other way. Players that are different, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, for our players, it makes it easier for them to, easier to imitate me, and because I am the same every day. So it's easy material for some of our alumni to look back on. Because yes, I'm saying the same things. I'm coming with the same thing every day. Those alumni can come back and say, he's still saying this. He's still walking this way. He's still mad when you do this, and he's super excited and happy when you do this. It'll be odd things that get me excited. If I see someone run over and get their teammate a glass of water or something, or the first kid who mops up sweat on the floor, those things get me excited because those are little things behind the scenes that can make you have a really special team.
Sounds like culture is really important to you, and it is a buzzword. I almost feel like, what's another word I can put down where I don't have to use that word, but it is so important, and you do have to fight for it every day. In your opinion, how does culture drive performance?
No, it's everything. We want to have a culture of hard work, and so if the culture is hard work, how kids understand that and how it's taught is by watching the older kids work hard every day and actually see it. So when you come into the gym and you're shooting on the gun, you're shooting game shots. When you're foam rolling, you're doing the same foam rolling routine as everybody else, and you're definitely not on your phone. And when you're stretching, you're doing the stretch, and you're detailed, you're focused, and there's a culture that needs to be built up with that. But you got to get high character kids that are willing to hold other kids accountable. But more than hold them accountable, I think it's the biggest factor is modeling it. If we could get good players to model it, and that's what we have here. We
Yeah.
have some great kids. I love our guys. They come in with a good attitude. They're ready to work hard, and they're modeling for the younger kids. This is how we do it at Southwestern. We're a hard work team. We get after it in practice. We pay attention to the small details, and we're not afraid to get our hands dirty and get some work done.
I think that seems to me to be the difference between somebody that has just nice posters on their wall, and then occasionally they'll read a quote, that, and I've been guilty of it. I think, okay, got culture done today. And then we move on to the important things, but modeling it. And I don't know if there are coaches that listen to this have ever thought about, like, seriously writing down the things that you believe in and then asking the tough question is, do we really? Like, do we really live by this every day? If somebody was to walk in, would they see these things happening? I would imagine by you modeling it, or better players modeling it, you actually have a culture that is happening, not just on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I think we do, but I can't tell you how much work it's been to get there, and every day how much work it is, and how fickle it can be
Mm,
if you're not paying attention to it. And you said it. You're literally fighting for your culture every single day. I mean, if you're not ready to fight for it as a head coach every day, and your staff's not ready to help you fight for it, it's going to be a tough battle to win. But so far, we've had the energy. We've had I've had such a great staff that
mm.
has allowed me to fight for our culture. I've had really good X's and O guys. I've had really good recruiters that have really allowed me to take a higher view of our team and really worry about our team's culture when they've been able to take care of a lot of these other, I wouldn't say minor details, big details.
Yeah. You've been there. How many years is this now?
This is going into year 14.
Into 14. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many years do you feel like it took you to, and culture can shift and change as we do, as we grow, we get hopefully smarter, we learn more from year to year, and borrow things. How many years did it take for you to establish the kind of culture you like?
That's a really good question. When I evaluated myself early on, I really looked at leadership being my weakness, and now I believe it's my strength as a coach. But I would say it's at least 5 to 7 years
Wow. Yeah.
before I thought we had been below average, and now I'm pretty proud of what we're doing. But like we said, it's something that we continue to work for. We have a lot of people helping us, and it's been a long process. It's been a lot of work, but it's worth it.
So I'm asking your advice now, because I think all these questions are for me. Like, I want to learn, but then I know other coaches will want the same information. Being year 10 here at Faith, I worry sometimes that there's slippage and I don't even realize it. Like, I'm a little blind to it. I don't see it. What's your advice on how being at the same place for a long time, you know, continuing to grow, strive for excellence, and not being blind to maybe some things that are happening right in front of you?
Well, I think a great staff can help with that. That's willing to challenge you, and I've had that over the years. I have a leadership consultant on staff who has a doctorate degree on campus who challenges me weekly
Hmm.
on in different areas. And so, and having good mentors, having a mentor come to practice and actually watch you in practice, and evaluate your body language, and maybe someone not on staff would be most helpful with that, because it's so easy for them to be honest with you about it.
Yeah.
Those are just some of the things that I've done that have really helped me. And it's not always fun to hear the things I can do better, but I've definitely benefited from them.
Coach, that's such a good nugget, because I love when I had a coach the other day, a former Capel coach, Coach Chastain, come to the gym, and I was honored to have him. And I even texted him, "Hey, Coach, thank you for coming, and would love to hear your thoughts." And he only said good things. Now, I'm not saying that because that it was perfect. I don't know if was I really asking him for constructive criticisms. Yeah, was I at what, or was I okay with just the good stuff? I think that's wanting to have people critique, and because you want to get better. That's a challenge.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to be really intentional. We have to be intentional with our questions, and make sure that the person we're asking knows that you want that feedback. But that's something that I'll set up ahead of time with folks. I had an awesome mentor for the longest time, William Tisdale, who played for OU, Wayman's younger brother.
Oh,
He,
wow.
he mentored me for about 5 years, and he did it from Oklahoma. I mean, they're only two hours away, but he'd watch me on film, and he'd give me feedback on my body language. And then we talked about all kinds of things. And he kind of really broke down a lot of things of what I struggled with and really helped me out a lot and build my confidence. And, finding someone who can help you like that, how valuable is that to find somebody who's willing to help you like that?
That's huge. I think it comes down to how much we ask our players to have a growth mindset and to keep striving for excellence. But how often are we really doing that? Are we being evaluated and growing or learning from that? So, man, I appreciate that. A kind of a challenge there for me, I think.
Well, it's hard. We get busy, right? We got to do the practice plan, the lesson plan. We're recruiting, or all the other families, all the other things that we have going on. It's hard to add that to the list, but when I've done it, it's been worth it.
The Jamodi podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
At your elite camp, you guys spent a lot of time with athletes talking about their digital tattoo, right? Their social media platforms and the brand or how they're portraying themselves. How do you all use social media with your program?
Well, Coach McSorley, our head assistant, he's kind of in charge of our social media, and he does a great job. And he tries to use it to brand our program, to kind of communicate what we're about to student athletes. And then he evaluates the students on social media. He understands social media better than I do. I mean, I'm on it and I'm looking, but I'm not an expert at what's going on. I don't understand everything that's going on with social media. Yeah. Coach Mac does. And so he'll evaluate each kid on social media. So as we go through the camp and we're looking at application transcript, and then I'll say, Coach Mac, have you checked out his Twitter? And he'll go through their posts and he'll say, this is kind of what this means. This is what that means. He can read between the lines and what they're interested in and maybe what their focus is. And he's really, really good at it. I'm not, but that's why I try to have good people around me who can help me. But he's done tremendous things with our social media. That's created awareness with our alumni. And so a lot of good things have come through with our program with social media. So Coach Mack has just done a great job and deserves the credit that with all that we've been able to do with it.
Obviously, like you just said, it's important at your level to have somebody on staff that is current with those things and understands what hashtags and all what everything means. What are your thoughts on is that something as a high school coach, as a varsity coach, when you're interviewing or bringing new staff in, maybe is that something we should be looking for, especially if we don't want to either spend the time or we just don't have that knowledge? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I think leadership for me has been finding people who are smarter than me and utilizing their talent. So anytime you can do that, I've got lots of great staff around me. I've got Andrew Burgos on our staff who helped me set everything up today to get going. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd just push play.
Me and you would have been figuring out mute for like 30 minutes on there.
Yeah. So, anytime you can get different people who are, more talented than you in any area, I'm all for it. And so that's one of the things that I really don't enjoy doing the social media aspect of it. I rather be on the court with the guys or use my time in other areas. And so I do think that the younger generation who's grown up with it their entire lives are a little bit better at it than I am.
Well, yeah, me too. I mean, I still in high school, cell phones were just coming out. And so the big Nokia, not like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, if you remember that reference.
No, absolutely.
I mean, had he could pause time, coach. He's a superhero. But sorry, let me get back.
Yeah.
One thing I just kind of celebrate you, but it's been really impressive. One, how much you delegate to your assistants. I can tell that throughout our talk. But just the self-awareness that you have to empower others to do things that they're really good at. And then to be able to focus on the things that you're really good at. Because I think so many head coaches, especially, can micromanage, to be so terrified to let go of any control. But it just seems like you've got a really good handle on doing that.
Well, it's been a process. It hasn't always been like that. It really takes a lot of confidence to be able to delegate everything, and as a head coach, for to divvy up all the credit, because we're still going to take, as the head coach, you're still going to take the blame.
Yeah.
You're going to take all the blame. At least that's what we try to do, and we think that helps our program out. But early on, it's harder to delegate everything when you're starting out as a head coach. But as I've grown and gotten more confident, it's been easier to delegate, and then we've gotten better. When I've delegated, our program has gotten better. I've just been blessed with just some phenomenal basketball minds, and people have really been bought into what we're doing, and it's made it fun.
Some of my friends just in the DFW area have asked me in the past why I started doing this, having these hoops talks, and it really stems from during COVID, a coach at a high school in Rockwall, Texas. It's just outside of DFW. She wanted to talk about shooting, and so we're having a Zoom, we're having this talk, and then somehow it just moved over into culture, and then it moved over into this activity that she does where she takes her team to a cabin, and like that's not that unique or special. A lot of people take trips or do things, but it was this talk that she did at the cabin, the way that she was able to break down some walls with her players and the format. And I just said, Coach, like this is really good, and it made me thinking, if we weren't on a Zoom talking about shooting, I never get to learn about the amazing things that she's doing there. So how many coaches have amazing either culture activities, shooting games, anything that we just don't get to hear from? And so that's a big reason for doing this. So my question is, being such a culture guy, what are some of the best activities that you have for building that up?
The best thing I think that we do is our community service project. So we do and we do a project where we present the champions of character. The NAI has 5 pillars of champions of character: their servant leadership, integrity, sportsmanship. And so we have our guys go to schools and model these words and explain it to these schools. And I think when they're explaining it, they're learning it. And we also do, like a dance contest and a dunk contest with it. We have a lot of fun. So, we didn't do it for that reason. It wasn't a team building thing. We wanted to teach our guys how to serve. And then it ended up being like a really, really good team building process for us. And it's something that, our alumni are really proud of that they took part in, and something that our returners look forward to every year. And it's kind of one of those deals where, when they're done, they're really proud that they represented Southwestern that day. And that's kind of a big deal as you're building your culture.
Right. That's the lesson, is the more that we serve, obviously we're helping other people, but man, it really feels good. When we do that. Where do you have them go for that? I'm sorry if you said it already.
No, it's okay. We go to area elementary schools,
Okay.
and then we also have a leadership consultant on staff, Dr. Dawn Plez, who she sets us up in other towns. So we've gone to Wichita and to some of the schools in Wichita, Kansas, and we've done do some shows on the road. But this year we'll do our project here in the field house, and we'll fill it with 500 kids and do a program. And it's something that took a lot of time for us to build up to.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It makes a big impact on the community. It makes a big impact on our community, which is great. But then also our guys, and they look back at it fondly as one of the big parts of being part of Southwestern.
Would you happen to have an outline of kind of what the activity, the show looks like, and
Yeah.
and it could vary from place to place, and think what they have, but I would love, and maybe other coaches too would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share it. Anyone who
Okay.
contacts me via email or text message, I'd be happy to send them our program of what we do. It's really not that complicated. It's a hard work getting set up, but once you get it going and you have returners to kind of get things going, it's a lot of fun.
I would imagine the schools that you're contacting, they're pretty eager to have you guys come out and be with their kids.
Yeah, nobody said no. And then
That's
we've been
good.
going to the same schools for, it's been 13 years in a row at
Oh,
some of the
wow.
schools. So now it's nice. It's coach, it's one phone call. Hey, what can we come on this date? Yeah, that's great. And we're only there at that school for like 20 minutes, and then we move on to the next. We'll have we call it like a tour. We'll go from one school to the next. In the past, we've done reading and all the different classrooms and that kind of thing. We've kind of honed in on a 20-minute program with a lesson from our guys, and then the dunk contest, which they really enjoy, and it's gone over really well, and be happy to share that with anybody.
Could you go into what the lesson looks like a little bit? I mean, obviously 13 years, you've seen a bunch of them. What typically are they doing for 20 minutes?
Well, we'll have the leadership team, usually are the speakers. They'll each explain one champion of character area. So if it's sportsmanship, they'll give a definition of sportsmanship, what that looks like to a fourth grader or a fifth grader, give an example of it. So they get up, each player speaks. There's 5 different players who speak in front of the whole school.
Wow.
We'll give a little synopsis of our program, short synopsis of our program. So the learning part is like, around 5 minutes. And then there's 15 minutes of the kids getting to interact, and we let them yell and scream and do all that kind of stuff and have fun. But we've honed in on we're skilled enough for 20 minutes to keep their attention. And then we can move on to the next school. We get all the kids riled up, and then we leave. So the teachers, I think, seem to like it, but
I was saying, I'm sure the teachers are just they're standing there so astonished that you guys are able to keep them for 20 minutes. Cause at that age, that's tough. How's it been? How do your players do in front of the group? Have you been just super pleased over the years with the way that they communicate? Because that's a great life skill to have them do with public speaking.
Yeah, it's tough. Some of them struggle at first, but they get better at it.
Yeah.
And some of them, it's very, very difficult for them. But a lot of the guys, they get better as the year goes on, and they go to the second, third, or the fourth school. They get better, but it's all an awesome experience for them.
Yeah.
It's not, as we both know, it's not as easy as it looks. And when I was their age, I would have been terrible. I mean, I would have like, coach, don't find anybody but me. I'm not going out there to talk.
Yeah.
But it's a good experience for our kids. And I know that they feel like they're making a difference, and that's pretty awesome.
Coach, I do love to get to talk about shooting, and especially you said you guys like to get up and down and run and gun a little bit. How do you teach shooting in your program?
I'm not big on teaching the skill of shooting. We've kind of got, like, at the college level, I'm kind of like, hey, whatever your shot is, I need you to do that every time.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't get to that until about 7 or 8 years ago. I had an All-American who he slung the ball over his head. It didn't look good, but it went in. And I was, it's all good. You can make shots, and we got the percentages. We can keep track of it. So what we've really honed in on shooting is Coach Gabler, our graduate assistant. He tracks everything. So all of our guys have to shoot a certain amount of shots on the gun during the season, and he'll chart their percentages. They'll have an actual time that they need to shoot. And so we really kind of hold them accountable to reps. And then when we get going in season, we'll also kind of have what we call a prescription card of the exact shots they need to take. It may be like a shot that a certain player takes within a set play. We may ask him, hey, we're running this set to you. I need 20 of these per day. It may be the point guard. He needs, in addition to 3-point shots on the gun, we need him to shoot 20 pull-up jumpers off a high pick and roll. So it's very specific to what they do. If we see them doing something in a game often, then we'll put that on their prescription card, and they'll be required to shoot that shot every single day. And so we felt like that's really helped them. And then, the communication piece I really like with it. It's usually me and the player coming together. What would you like on your prescription card? Is this taking you too long? We want something that's about 15 minutes that you can stick to every day. And, when I'm talking to a player individually about his game, they usually respond great. When it's all about
me.
them,
Yeah.
we haven't had any issues
That's
with
right.
kids, like, buying into, what they need to be doing with that, and we usually try to pick one thing that they'd like to do on the that maybe I don't see as a strength for them, but they want to work at, and to try and increase their skill at that shot to be a strength for them where they could use it in the game. But so not too much on skill work. I wish I was a little bit better at that. I just really focus on this is the reps you need for us no matter what every day. And then we'll get into it. Hey, you want to be all conference? This is how many reps you need to take. If you want to be pro, this is these are how many reps you're going to need to take care of on a daily basis. You make the choice on how many reps you're going to do, but we kind of lay it out there for them.
Yeah, coach, couple things there. I mean, Bert, I completely agree with you on the form. At your level, I mean, crap, coach, they got to you. So obviously there's a certain level of mastery that they have, no matter what position that they play. But because even at the high school level, I mean, freshmen come up, in my opinion, besides maybe helping them get that thumb out on their guide hand by sticking a paper clip there, that might be the only thing that, because we focus way more on speed and preparation, because the faster that they shoot, I've seen the cleaner that their form is. Like Coach Try, it's really hard to shoot with bad form fast. It cleans up. Like if you have hitches, if you sling, if you shoot fast, it naturally, there's a way that our body likes to get the ball out of their hands that helps. And I love it. The way that you do the shooting with the prescription card, to me, it kind of mirrors the way that you do leadership with your players. You give your leaders specific things that you want them to work on. So instead of telling your players, hey, everybody, just make sure you're getting a lot of shots up. What if they get the wrong shots up?
Absolutely.
Because you left it open. By making it specific, it's kind of you're really putting them on a path toward success and making it happen.
Yeah, our guys have liked the structure, and I think they benefited from it. And we're able to point to the kids in the past who have had a lot of success. This is what they've done. Here's their prescription card. I'm going to add some of the same things that he did to your prescription card, and then we might show them some video on how they did it, and then we're able to get some really good buy-in.
Man, that's another good nugget, because at the high school level, I'm always trying to whether it's through a record board, a wall in our locker room that has guys that have graduated, finished the program in the right way. They have their name and their plaque in there. I'm always trying to figure out ways to keep their names constantly being said, keep their memories, their legacies alive. That's another way. Here's somebody that's been in our program that, you know what, you remind me of. Here's some clips. Here's some things that he did. And I think what it does, it may inspire them, especially if they know who that player is. There's some natural competition there. It may inspire them to do more. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many shots? So you have team practice where I'm assuming there's going to be some skill work and then natural shooting within games and things in practice. But how many shots would you say that players are getting up outside of that in season? Like a week?
A week, I would say they got to shoot at least 150 threes every day. So they're at least taking 150 threes every day, and then we're getting about 100 other shots. So it's somewhere around 1,000, probably somewhere around 1,000 that they're required. We do not shoot very much in practice. We practice. We try to practice. We take a lot of pride in practicing really short. There's 3 days a week that we practice probably like, it could be under 60 minutes. It could be 55 minutes 3 times a week after we stretch.
I bet you guys are flying though in that hour.
We are. We're going really, really fast. I've gotten lucky and had a lot of we've been fortunate to have some obstacles that make us do things differently. And those obstacles have really, I've found some things that work for us just by, having we play in a great place. We played in the oldest gym west of the Mississippi. It's an awesome field house. But we really only have 2 goals that you can shoot on at the there's no side goal. You could only like shoot a layup on the side goal and get anything done. So, all our shooting is outside of practice, and so we try to make things extremely fast in our practice, and we want to maximize our time, and we actually practice from like 11:15 to 12:30 3 times a week, including stretching, and so. the guys get in and out, and we like that. It's been good for our assistant coaches as well. And so, and like you said, we got to practice really fast to be able to do that. And then we also, man, does it take guts as a coach, head coach, because you're not getting everything in if you're only practicing that amount of time. We don't have everything in.
I would imagine it streamlines you though too. Like you have to have amazing clarity going into. There's no part of your practice plan that is fluff. And I think there's a lot of us. I know years ago, if I pulled up my practice plans for 4 or 5 years ago when we were trying to do it all, there's just a ton of things I would take out now. So I would imagine you're pretty efficient with what you guys do.
Yeah, I think so. And if we didn't have those challenges, honestly, Coach, I think I probably would have just be practicing 2 hours or 2 hours and 15 minutes, like, I was taught and like the practices I was in. But we had these challenges, and then we found something I think that works. And, we're able to get those guys to focus for that amount of time and demand that they focus for that time. And then they enjoy it. We tell them, hey, if you don't focus for this 55 minutes, we'll come back again tonight. And, we haven't had to do that yet. They're just like, it's a pretty good deal. If I focus for 55, 60 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I can move on to my shooting. And it's worked out well for us.
Coach, you're right. The 2.5, 3 hour practices as a player, man, you're wondering what time are we at? Like if you don't have windows in your gym and you can't tell by how the light is set here, that's tough. So when you have an hour in there and hour 15, I would imagine those guys they go harder because they know that they can't go longer. I think there's something to that. I also appreciate the way that I think a lot of high school coaches have, like you said, challenges, obstacles with timing, with volleyball, with girls basketball, sharing, with rentals that are already there. But instead of looking at it in a negative way, like this is holding us back, view it like you did. How can I make it work? And how can we still get better and still be growing despite these challenges?
Yeah. I just hope my athletic director is not listening doesn't listen to the podcast. So when she tells me you can't have the gym this day, she's like, go make that into something positive. Coach.
Yeah, go another challenge that you said.
Yeah.
Coach, I doubt it. Not that many people listen. So yeah, I doubt she'll hear that. That's funny. Coaches, the Jamodi podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here. Well, Coach, I've really enjoyed getting to learn more about you as a coach. We've already been going for an hour. Do you have time for the speed round?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, we'll get to short questions. We'll get to know you really well.
All right, sounds good.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
How many hours of sleep do you need?
I need at least 7, and I'd like to have 8.
Nice. How many? I think I need to split that up. How many do you need? How many you typically get? Because I think that's a different question.
I'm somewhere around 7 to 8 hours.
Pretty consistent there.
Yes.
Best basketball movie of all time?
Man, I like a lot of basketball movies.
Go top 3.
I really do like He Got Game. I do like that one. Everybody loves Hoosiers. Man, I don't have the title of it, but there were some good ones back in the 80s and early 90s too that Heaven is a Playground.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I do have it. I do have the top 3. It's Pistol Pete. That's a
Birth of the Legend.
Yes. That one was awesome. I was at the right age when that came out and was dribbling everywhere and trying to do those passes.
Coach, did you ride a basketball dribbling after watching that? Did you ride a bike dribbling after watching that?
I couldn't do that. I wasn't good enough ball handler to do that.
I definitely. I'll tell you that there is not a movie that, as a young kid, single-handedly allowed me to zoom out, dream bigger than that movie right there. When he's in that gym and is practicing by himself. His dad walks in, he's got tears going down his face, and he says, if you dedicate yourself, then one day you can get a college scholarship. Like I felt lightning in that moment. Like, yes, if he can do it, I felt like I was feeling the same way as a 5'2" goofy 8th grader.
That was an awesome scene.
It was powerful.
And you got it all the way to Baylor from that movie, all the way to made it all the way.
So players, just watch that movie. But no,
yes.
No. But his homework basketball, though, and I don't know about you, I think that I even going to college, I was amazed at how players weren't good at some of those ball handling drills, whether it's wraps, 1-ball or 2-ball drills that maybe when I was younger just had to. I don't know if it's a gift or just something you have to choose, where I loved learning new drills, but I see players like we do them at the high school level, and they've really never seen them before. They just don't do that stuff very often. What do you see?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's the key. You said love. I mean, I love doing those.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to do all those Pistol Pete homework drills. And so they're doing a lot of shooting drills that maybe we didn't have as much access as they do to all this stuff.
Sure.
And we just kept it basic. We're able to get those drills done.
Yeah. But you see guys like Curry. I mean, so many people watch Curry's shot and they emulate that, but they forget that before the game, he has a 2-ball routine and a tennis ball routine, and he's doing all these things that just make him elite. But I do think if I was a high school player today, one thing that I think could separate me quickly is the ability to truly handle it and pass it. Because you're right, so much emphasis on the shot. I'm guilty of making our players think that way too. But you could really differentiate yourself right now, I feel like, as a ball handler.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get into all that.
That's all right.
For high school, shot clock or no shot clock?
Definitely shot clock. We're running, coach. You just you want to run. Well, let's run. Let's get more kids in the game and playing.
More skill development, less joysticking.
Yeah.
Let's play.
Run.
How long? How long for high school? Do you like how long college is?
I do, but I've never really thought about that as a change, to be honest with you, changing the amount of time. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind the high school game a little bit longer if we can find a way to speed up everything else, like half times, quarters, timeouts, and speed all that stuff up.
I was talking the other day to Jamin Copeland. He's a coach down at Ava Maria in Florida. He was up at UT Tyler for a little bit, and he's a DFW guy. So he was actually 1 year older than me. He was at Coppell High School. He was the guy that I looked up to, and so we've become friends over the years. He has a rule change, coach. I'm kind of one of my favorite questions to ask is, what's one rule that you would change or think? His is every free throw is one shot. So 1 for 2, 1 for 3. I think that would shave off a lot of time.
I'm in. I like it. And I'm a free throw shooter. It's one of the only things I was good at, but I like anything to speed it up.
Yeah.
I think half times are too long. Too many timeouts. The quarters are too long, especially in small college. When you're trying to get a men and women or double header, 90% of the time. How to keep people's attention now for 4.5 hours is really hard. If there's a way you can shorten that up with the kids, everybody's still getting, the ability to participate.
Yeah, it's good. Texting or talking?
I'm definitely rather talking, more effective talking than texting.
Favorite holiday?
I would say Christmas.
In basketball, who is the GOAT?
Michael Jordan. And I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a New York City guy. So I wasn't a Michael Jordan fan, but you going back at it now, especially in those days.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT. No question.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you visit?
In my personal time, I'd probably play a few more high school basketball games. I would like to do that. That would be fun.
Coach, I try to tell the guys that, playing in college is special. It's unique. Wouldn't trade it for anything, but there's just something about high school uniform, friends in the stands that you've sometimes grown up with.
Yeah.
It's just special.
Your family's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool deal. I wouldn't mind trying to do that again.
2 more. How many cups of coffee you drink per day?
No coffee, zero coffee, none.
Caffeine of any kind?
Actually, a caffeine pill. I don't like coffee, but I need to get a little caffeine going in the morning.
Little green tea or something like that, or
every now and then, or just an actual caffeine pill.
Yeah, that's it. That's cool. Last one: Godfather, Star Wars, or neither?
Godfather, for sure. Godfather.
Strong
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I felt a good connection with you this whole time until you just rolled right past Star Wars right there.
I
didn't even give it us.
No. And yeah, I know you must have the force.
Oh man, tried to. Coach, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for your time, getting to watch you in that elite camp, and then to learn more about you here. It was an absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Like learning from you, and look forward to learning more from your podcast in the future. I'll be tuning in.
Wow. Well, thanks for that, Coach. If anybody wants to connect with you, maybe you said something, I would love to personally to get the order or the outline of that amazing culture activity that you do. How can they connect with you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Coach OB at SC. And then it's Southwestern College in Kansas. My email's there, matt.o'brien@sccans.edu. And anybody's more than welcome. Always love to talk basketball and share ideas. Look forward to visiting with anyone.
Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Have a great night.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.